marketing at the end of the day, you guys, is nothing more than just building a relationship with someone. And what makes someone really feel valued? Being seen.
Hey everyone, welcome to the SOB Marketing Podcast, where we celebrate the SOB that you are, and if you haven't figured it out yet, we mean small-owned business. We don't mean SOB.
Listen, we know that as a small business owner, you are working hard on the daily to keep your business fully operational while trying to promote it. And while some days it may feel like the business is owning you, if we're being honest with each other, I bet you would admit that you wouldn't give up the insanity for anything.
Our commitment here at the SOB Marketing Podcast is to give you the real talk, what works when it comes to advertising, marketing, promoting your business, and then what doesn't really work.
And Chelsea and I promise to always keep the conversation real.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the SOB Marketing Podcast. SOB as in small-owned business. We are not calling anyone names.
Never.
Before we get started, just want to remind everyone, if you're not following or subscribed, make sure you do that. Make sure you leave us a review. That helps us get in front of other small business owners, and we're trying to build a cult here, a cult for good, of course. Also, we want to do an episode in the future where we answer everyone's specific marketing questions. So if you have a marketing question, vague, specific, anything that you want to ask us, please email us at help@theseasonmarketer.com. You could also send us a DM on social media. You could leave it in the comments section wherever you're listening or watching this, whatever works best for you guys. But just let us know what you want answered on the podcast.
We already have one submission from of all things, from a library, elementary school librarian wrote in to ask us a question. So if you guys want to throw your name in the hat, your business in the hat, get a little shout out on the podcast, and also, you know, you have two marketing professionals here who want to answer your nail-biting question that you've been sitting on for a year or two. So go ahead and, like Chelsea said, reach out to us. Let us know.
Yeah. So, Vivian, what are we talking about today?
All right. So today we thought it would be good for us to bring some shocking statistics, marketing statistics to you guys, because there is just a lot in the world of marketing that I think would surprise people if they slowed down and paid a little bit of attention. And while Chelsea and I can appreciate that we live in this world, we eat, breathe, and sleep marketing, as a small business owner, you got a lot of stuff going on. And so we just want to share some of the statistics that we think could potentially change the way you approach and view your marketing and the way you go about promoting your small business.
And if you've listened to this podcast before, you have probably heard some of these statistics, but we are going to talk about them again and just explain why you should care as a small business owner. Also, heads up, you guys, I am not going to be doing a TLDL section for this episode simply because we are just going through some statistics and talking about them, not really something that I can sum up. So what I'm saying is you need to just listen to this episode all the way through.
TLDL, for those of you that may be new around these parts, is too long, didn't listen. She usually recaps the episode at the very end in case you're in a hurry, but we're skipping that today because these are all stats. You need to know every single one of them, okay? So listen to the entire episode. All right, Chelsea, let's get started by talking about our favorite thing in the whole world, which, you know, if you've listened to us for some time, you know is email.
We really do. We talk about email marketing a lot.
Yes.
Because it is a powerful marketing tool, y'all.
It is. And it's the one thing you guys own. We always like to remind you, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. We love that you are showing up on all of these channels, but just understand that one day, if one of them gets banned, if one of them decides to pivot and you don't want to play the game anymore, you need to have an email list where you're taking people off platform. So
Yes.
great Instagram followers, you have 20,000 of them. Get a good portion of those 20,000 off of Instagram and tell them to sign up for your email list. And that way you can message them as much as you want. Okay.
Yeah.
You could keep them informed. So what is this? Oh, go
Well,
ahead.
I was going to say, this first statistic is why I care so much about email marketing.
Okay. What is it? Give it to
Okay.
us.
So it's for every $1 spent on email marketing, the average return on investment, the average ROI is $36. That is what? 3,600%.
That's
ROI.
wild. That's wild.
That's crazy.
I mean, here's the interesting part. If you're wondering, if you're like, email marketing is free, okay. That means you probably have not done email marketing if you think it's free. You have to find a platform that you prefer and that you like. That platform can sometimes charge you by the amount of people you have on your email list, like how many subscribers. For us, one of our favorites and the one that we've been using for years, we have a email list of over 1,200 people. We've always used Flowdesk.
Yes.
And part of that reason is because Flowdesk charges me one monthly fee and it's not going to increase no matter how many people I add on there. So next year, in a couple months, when you hear me talk about we have over 2,000 people on the email list, it's not going to change. The rate stays the same. And that's what I like about it. But
as opposed to, I have used MailChimp, and I'm not bashing MailChimp. It was also a great platform to use. The pricing varies by how many subscribers you have.
yes. And so I have also used MailChimp. So let's look at these numbers. If it's saying for every $1 spent on email marketing, the average return is 36. If I am an organization, a company that has over 100,000 email subscribers, MailChimp, let's say they charge me $1,000, okay, for per month whenever I send stuff out. That's what it's telling me. It's saying, hey, that $1,000 you're actually going to get back in return, as Chelsea did her math, 3,600% ROI on that.
Yeah.
So you're reaping more back as opposed to what you're dishing out to get that email out there. I think especially as a small business owner, if you do go the way of like a Flowdesk where, they're charging you like $30, $20 a month, much more manageable. And that means that $20 a month, when you're sending it out, you're going to get back in return. Now, granted, it's going to also depend on how good that email is.
Yes. This is an average.
Yes. How good your email is. And also that you're promoting some of your products and services, right? Or even if you're just staying top of mind, you're getting this back in some type of way, shape, or form over, that year.
Yes. Now, Vivian, let's say, and we've had this conversation before, you personally, as the small business owner, you don't like getting emails, or you're Vivian and you have thousands of emails in your inbox that you've never opened.
I would argue I really like getting emails. I sign up for every email list. I'm like, put me on that list.
I still think Vivian's not your ideal emailer.
Why?
Because you need to open the email.
No, but I do. I open the ones I want to read. Like, trust me, my inbox, does my inbox get flooded? Yeah. Do I open the emails I want to read? Yes. What causes me to open the email? A good heading, a good subject line. If it's from a person that's teaching me something or it's an intriguing topic, I do read the stuff. I read emails, so.
Okay.
So I am your ideal email customer.
Okay, my bad. My point being, a lot of people say, well, I don't read my emails or I don't like receiving emails, so I'm not going to do email marketing. No. You are not your consumer. You are not your target audience. And my next statistic, 60% of consumers prefer to be contacted by brands through email. Okay, so there's facts behind this. People like receiving emails from brands.
Well, and I think the one thing I would urge you to do is if you haven't started an email list because your mindset is that email is outdated, I just want to challenge you to dive deep into why you think that. Is it because you yourself are not using it? And then to Chelsea's point, you may be your target customer, you may not, but the thing is, you can't just base things off of like, well, I don't do this. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, there's an entire other world out here, and majority wins. Okay. If most of your customers will open an email, then you should have an email list. Okay. Because that's easy money where you guys have people that are tuned in saying, I want to hear from you. Great. They may want to know what your special is. They may want to know the new product that you just, released. And I do think it's a big one. I love that you threw that in there because sometimes just challenge your beliefs of what you think people are doing every day. Go out there and look for the data. Most of the time, there are tons of companies that go out there and do, whether it's surveys, focus groups. I actually used to work for a market research company. Y'all, hands down, one of the funnest jobs I had because every day was just so freaking different, okay? But there are companies that will pay. Coca-Cola used to pay this market research firm I worked for good money to have me call people in the evening and say, hey, do you want to come out here and try some new Coke products for, $100 for your time? And they're like, hell yeah, I'll do it. Sign me up. And our job was to look for a variety of people. So you had the demographics, you had all of those data points to tell you exactly what you're saying here. Companies know, they have a pulse on what customers are wanting. So
Absolutely. A little side tangent, Vivian. Did you ever do studies while you were in college?
What do you mean? Did I participate?
Did you participate in the studies?
I did, but I did them for the university, which was
That's
different.
what I was,
Yes.
It's always different, but that was big for the business school.
Yes.
I had teachers who would give you extra credit and you'd get actual money from just doing these little they weren't surveys. They were like research studies.
Yeah.
But it was research studies specifically with like a consumer in mind.
Yeah. So a lot of it, the ones that I did were psychology based. Okay. So like basically they would say, they would have the students in the room and then they would give them like stuff and you never knew what the study was actually about. You just had to follow instruction and then you'd get compensated either through extra credit or money or whatever it was. But they were interesting because I think that's the only way you really are going to get to understand what people are truly wanting. It's one thing we all know, you could fill out a survey. Y'all be some little liars out there telling these surveys incorrect things you actually don't do and actually don't believe. And so I do like the ones that are more case study like. And that's why I loved at the market research firm, I loved because I would have a hand in not just recruiting the people, but part of my responsibility, especially when I wanted that money and I needed more hours, is I would actually go in and set the room up because the focus groups for, let's say, like these Coke products, when they were trying new flavors and stuff, they would have a moderator in the room and there was an actual mirrored wall. So you couldn't see the person behind, but their execs would sit on the other end so they could see how people were reacting to stuff. And so, I love that you threw this statistic in there because sometimes you guys, the stuff we think to be true is not actually what people are telling us they want. So they want emails from you guys, please.
Also a really great point of when we're giving you guys these statistics, like it comes from research.
We're not going to be telling you guys what what our preferences are. We're trying to give you something based in fact.
Yes. Yeah. Unless you're doing these surveys and lying, guys.
Don't be a little liars, please.
So our next statistic for email, Vivian, I love so much because it just part of the times. This is so accurate for, 2025, the 2020s, that sort of thing. Personalized emails deliver 6 times higher transaction rates. Yes.
Love it.
Love. And reminder, guys, when we say personalization, we don't mean hi, insert name.
And then you actually insert name, right?
And then
you don't
actually insert the name. Please don't do your customers wrong. Like I've been wronged.
Like you've been wronged in the past.
Yeah.
Well, and yes, the personalization, such a timely topic because we have covered this in previous podcast episodes, what personalization means in 2025 as opposed to what it meant in like 2015. But it is something where if you think about marketing at the end of the day, you guys, is nothing more than just building a relationship with someone. And what makes someone really feel valued? Being seen. Okay, so when you're personalizing, quote unquote, these emails, meaning you have any data on your customers, okay? Then someone signs up for your email list. And then you are able to, because you are organized on the back end and you've actually developed these little groups of, you've segmented your audience on the back end with email. This is the group of people that bought a home decor thing. This is a group of people that bought candles. This is a group. And so then if I know that you like my dough bowl candles, okay, and for you guys that don't know, in the South, that's a big thing. We basically take a nice little dough bowl and we pour candle wax in there. And so then when the candle's done, you have a little decorative bowl that you can use for stuff, okay?
I have never heard of that. So even if you are in the South, it's okay if you didn't know that. No, I've never seen that.
Our friend down at Cotton Down South sells, that's what she's known for. She sells a ton of them. She makes her own. Anyways.
Oh.
Okay, so the thing
I'm shopping for other things besides candles, okay? So I never noticed that because good at personalization.
There you go. Well, so here's the thing is with something like that, if I know that's what you're interested in, hey, I just have a new scent that I released. Who do you think is more primed to buy that?
Not Chelsea.
Not Chelsea. It's the people that actually have bought a candle before. So who am I going to send that information to?
Yes.
And so I think that's where this personalization, it helps you save money because you're, I always think of marketing as trying really, really hard. The better you are at it, the better you're going to narrow down that gap of the money you're spending going to people that don't or aren't interested, right?
Or just your time.
Yes.
You're not investing. Well, and time is money, y'all. You guys are busy. So even saving yourself that time is a big deal.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, Vivian. So we have a website. Do you want to give the first statistic?
Yes. Let me just remind you guys, the first statistic is what we're calling a 3-click rule. All right. Consumers should be able to find what they're looking for on your website within 3 clicks. Okay.
Which, Vivian, I don't know if you've seen the debate on this. When I was doing research for this episode, deciding which statistics we should bring, I actually found out that this has been debunked.
What do you mean?
So it's less about the clicks and more about clarity and ease of use.
Okay.
So it's not necessarily that, because the rule is saying if someone has to click more than 3 times, they're going to lose interest and just leave your website, right? Well, the new concept is it's not necessarily 3 clicks. It's just that if your website's complicated, if they can't find what they're looking for easily, and there's not clarity and a organized system within your website, then people are going to leave.
I'm going to be honest with you. This sounds like a very Gen Z thing to say.
What?
It sounds like, I'm not attacking you. I'm attacking the people who are debunking this, okay?
Okay.
Because I understand what they're saying. They and maybe to their point, they are correct because who knows how we came up with this statistic when someone wrote you have 3 clicks before someone like jumps off of your website.
Sure.
I do wonder what data they were actually looking at. And I'm guessing that part of that data was with the bounce rate. Okay.
Sure.
So I understand they probably looked at that, and they probably looked at like how long people are on the site and this and that. But I do think that there is something to the fact that if I have to do more than like, if I go onto your website and I'm specifically looking for a product, I'm going to buy a t-shirt, and think of it how, in your experience, how this has played out on most online shops.
Okay.
You get on the website, there's the homepage. You go to apparel, you go to t-shirts, there's a filter, men's, women's, children, you select women's. That's 3. That's 3 right there. I found what I needed, okay? I'm not going to invest more time than like 3 clicks to find a woman's t-shirt that I want, right?
Yeah.
So I do, I stick by my initial thing. It sounds very...
Well, and I still wanted to bring this because, like you've just explained, like I think it's still a good rule of thumb.
Yeah.
Like I still think if you can find a way to make everything within 3 clicks, you probably want to do that.
Yeah, and also I get it if it's not exactly 3 clicks, but you have a nice website, it's organized, it's user-friendly, people can find the information they're looking for. I get it. Maybe I'll give you 4.
Yeah, well, that's what I was about to say. 3, 4, 5. When you get to like 16, there's
Too
a
much.
problem.
Too much.
People are gonna bounce off.
Yeah.
Right.
I do also like that we had this discussion and you mentioned that it was debunked, because as just a friendly reminder that as technology evolves, as consumer preferences change, marketing shifts. And hopefully that is part of the reason that you have subscribed to this marketing podcast, because you need a place to be able to go just to have the conversations of like, hey, has that changed any, or are we still doing that thing, right?
Yeah.
And so I love that there is a discussion around this because people change over time, the way we consume things, and also our patience for stuff changes. I mean, you guys, if you would have asked me back when I was graduating college in 2005 don't laugh, to sum up anything in 3 seconds, that I had to have a quote unquote 3-second hook for anything, like, you would have blown my mind. I would have been like, what the F are you talking about? 3 seconds? Like, that's not enough time to do anything.
Yeah.
But we are now in a society where like we're consuming so much short video that people are like, you have 3 seconds to get this person hooked onto your reel, onto your TikTok video. Great. Okay. I can't even like open my mouth in 3 seconds.
Okay.
Chelsea's like, okay, that was an unnecessary rant.
Well, I think that last part was a bit dramatic. You can open your mouth, but
No, I can't. I just did a real life slow motion.
Okay. So
Next stat.
Okay. It's the 5-second rule, which has, from my understandings and my research, not been debunked.
Okay.
And I'm not surprised at all. People should understand what your website is about in 5 seconds, or they're going to bounce. They're going to leave.
Yeah.
I want to clarify. If you...
what else are they going to bounce?
Well, no, real quick, everyone, if you don't know what a bounce rate is, it's basically how quickly someone leaves your website. So in the website, I don't know, community world.
Yeah, world.
In the website world, we use the phrase bounce.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is a good time to bring up, if you have a website, as a small business owner, please know where you can find the analytics. If you had someone build out your website and so you don't have access to it, ask them for access to it, because as the website owner and business owner, we want you to be able to take these data points and make good decisions based off of the data you're seeing. And so like what Chelsea's saying, if you go under your analytics and you notice that you have a high bounce rate, okay?
Yeah.
And usually it will tell you how many seconds before somebody leaves off of the website. If it's like 1 second, 2 seconds, then you know that there's probably some work you can do to that homepage. Like, what is it missing that's keeping people on here? And just a little teaser, we're hoping eventually in the next couple of months to have somebody that is a website designer by trade and that can speak to some of these tips and recommendations, because we do think that, you know, social media platforms are wonderful, but your website is your real estate, your online real estate, and we want you to have your own place.
But again, this statistic is just about, you know, again, it's ease of use and it's clarity. This made me think of... Vivian, do you remember like websites from the 2000s?
Yes, and the bad ads and stuff that were on there. Yeah.
It makes me think of like old 2000s websites where I'm specifically think of like hot pink color, like font color on like a yellow background.
And it has like some background music playing or something. Interesting. One of the shout out to one of my favorite podcasts, The Big Flop. I just found this a couple months ago, and I love just listening to their conversations. The last one I listened to was actually about Napster. Do you remember Napster?
I don't know what that is.
You don't know what Napster is?
No.
So basically, it's like...
I've heard the name before.
Okay.
I don't know what it is.
Before Spotify, we used to illegally download songs to burn CDs. And
I used to do that.
Okay, but you probably used LimeWire.
No.
Oh, okay.
I used MP3 download or something like that.
Yeah. Well, it was something similar, but it was the first one to do it. Okay, Napster was. And they did this whole discussion, and it got me in my, early 2000 feels, where I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, man, the stuff we used to do for music, being willing to go to jail. It was a whole thing. But what the main takeaway from that entire episode that I loved, and it had me connect the dots, was basically they were Spotify before Spotify. Like, if they had just been able to stay in business and connect those dots with the subscription base, they would have been super successful, because that's what Spotify did. But yeah. So yes, early 2000 websites. If you guys are listening and you had a favorite back in the day, a favorite website that you loved going to, let us know in the comments. I want a little throwback here. I want to look stuff up.
Absolutely. No, I thought you were about to say if you had a favorite website to legally download music on.
No.
Like, were you a LimeWire girl or a Napster girly?
Do tell us. I'm not gonna turn you guys into the government or to Metallica. One of the biggest naysayers for Napster was actually, I think, the drummer or guitarist from Metallica.
I don't remember which one, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I won't tattle on you guys. Tell us, were you LimeWire girly, or were you a Napster? Or Chelsea mp3download.com?
I once worked with an ad agency where I had to go through and revise all of their work, because it would be laden with misspellings and wrong information. We were spending thousands of dollars for me to do double the work.
Sometimes you don't need an ad agency. You just need resources to be able to figure it out on your own.
Yeah, that's why we created the SOB community for the small business owners who want to keep their marketing in-house but still need some support.
You get templates, courses, downloads, expert advice, weekly live calls, and a supportive group of other small business owners for just $50 a month. So head over to school.com/SOB. That's SKOOL.com/SOB. All lowercase. Join today and feel confident in your marketing.
This next one makes perfect sense.
Okay.
If anything, I think, well, actually, no, it makes sense because of the word over. So mobile users account for over 50% of global website traffic. I was about to say 50% honestly feels kind of low to me.
Yeah.
But when you say over, like how much over? Is it like 5% or like 20%?
True.
But
and I do have in my notes, because this is the figure that I found.
Oh, okay.
Same exact thing. Quote, the vast majority of the world's internet users, 95.9%, use a mobile phone to go on to at least some of the time. And so mobile phones now account for 62% of the world's web traffic.
Okay.
All right. So couple takeaways for you as a small business owner. If you know this, that over half of the people that visit your website are going to be looking at it
or 62%.
or 62%, okay, are going to be looking at it on this teeny tiny device. Be sure that your website is actually designed for that, okay?
Yes.
And there is these website builders these days, or people, if you have outsourced it, your website design to somebody, just be sure that you're asking them and say like, hey, is it mobile friendly also? There is a wonderful tool in Google where you can check this. You could check to see if your website is mobile friendly.
Real quick update, y'all. Unfortunately, Google actually retired their mobile-friendly testing tool back in December of 2023. However, Vivian and I found another free tool that you guys can use to test how mobile-friendly your website is from Expertise. I will be adding that link in the description notes, so go check that out and go make sure your website is mobile friendly.
Design wise, you want to be sure of that. Also, outside of just websites, if you guys are using something like a Canva, or we use links, links.co. What we use that for is, on Instagram, like when you say link in bio or something like that, because we have so many different resources, we have quizzes, we have courses, we have an email you can sign up, we have a podcast. I had to come up with a way to design it to where it was a little easier than just sending them to the website and having them poke around in there. And so I use that links.co to be able to nicely format it and have it show up on a mobile device. And literally they could just click on it.
Yeah, so we're limiting it to only 2 clicks instead of 3.
Yeah, instead of like 5. And so something similar would be like a stand store. You guys may have seen a lot of Instagram users using that as well. But all of those are mobile friendly. And so I love, just as a reminder, whatever you guys are doing, be sure that it looks okay when people pull it up on their phone.
Absolutely. And again, a lot of these website platforms already do it for you, but I still want you to double check, okay? And that's from experience. When I worked in healthcare, I would always double check the website on mobile, because a lot of the banner I'd have at the top, not always fitting correctly on mobile.
Yeah, it definitely, and it does this weird thing where it will minimize stuff. Same thing, I know we're talking about websites specifically, same thing on your emails, you guys.
Yes.
So we have a client that we do emails for, and on the platform that they use that she prefers, at the top, you can easily toggle between mobile view and email view. And I like doing that because there's something when I'm changing fonts or I'm changing font size, or when I'm looking at it in an email on my desktop, and let's say I insert, I'm like, oh, I want to put a new paragraph here. It doesn't look the same on your mobile device.
No.
Sometimes it gives you these weird, quirky, you'll have too much space in between paragraphs and all this. And so I make it a habit now to look at it on both devices because I don't want it to be funny or funky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just double check everything.
Yes. All right. So now we are moving on to content
Content.
marketing.
Ooh.
Can we start
No.
with a conversation we just had in our SOB community yesterday.
Okay.
For those of you that aren't aware, we have a membership community, $50 a month. We hop on weekly calls and we just talk about all things marketing. Our community members can bring marketing questions, initiatives, ideas to the table, and we talk about it as a group. It's a lot of fun. So the interesting thing that we just talked about yesterday on our community call was we were talking about how ChatGPT just hit 1 billion searches, right?
Daily searches.
Okay. Yeah. And the surprising statistic about this was when it comes to web searches, you would think 1 billion is a lot. It's not. Okay. Guess who's still reigning king?
Well, I know the answer. It's Google.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Google is when we looked at a graph and we shared it in the community where it laid out all of the platforms. Google was still at the very top, and it was by a long shot. Okay.
Yes.
ChatGPT was like fifth from the bottom with a ton, including Snapchat. In between there, Snapchat was like one of the top 5.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So it went Google, Instagram. This graph was specifically amount of daily searches.
So where people are going to just search things.
Okay. So Google, Instagram, a Chinese browser.
Yes.
And then Snapchat.
Who of you out there are using this Chinese browser?
Well, I feel like
I know who it is. I'm just saying. Okay, and
And then Snapchat. Snapchat was 4th. What after our community call, Vivian? I have a friend who's staying with us at the moment, and I live with my significant other. The 3 of us were just talking about who is searching things on Snapchat.
Did you guys figure it out?
No, we still want to know. Like, you can search things on Snapchat, yes. Who's doing that? What are you, like...
If you're using Snapchat to search stuff, tell us in the comments. What are you searching? Okay,
please
product,
let me know.
Services, what statistics, but hopefully not political stuff. But I bring that up because for me, I thought, and it kind of, we're coming off of this discussion with statistics for website, and then we're moving into content marketing, and so it kind of meshes both worlds together.
Okay.
ChatGPT does. So I think this was one of the more surprising things for me, where it was just the realization that is for as much talk as we're doing about ChatGPT, it still is in its infancy as far as like people using it.
Yes.
I think that's great to some extent, and it's probably not great to another extent, but just keep that in mind, because that means that as the years progress, for your small business, you probably have ample opportunities that are going to be popping up with that.
Okay, so this next statistic, Vivian, I think everyone doesn't specifically know, but they know. You know?
What do we know? Tell me.
Visual content is 40 times more likely to be shared on social media. Girl, at this point, who is sharing content that doesn't have visual content?
I can't answer that, but I'm sure there are some people out there.
I can see like a grandma updating her Facebook post, just like typing something out. But like businesses,
yeah.
no one's just doing a text post. On most of these platforms, you can't just do a text post.
Yeah, true. I was going to say you could do a graphic in Instagram that's got text on it, but...
Yeah, but it's still a graphic.
Yeah.
Now, you could, obviously, like in your story, you can just type something out or something like that, but most of the time, we're always adding visuals to our content at this point.
Yeah. You know what kind of this reminds me of? Even, okay, I'm assuming, and I shouldn't, that as a small business owner, maybe you guys are doing Instagram to some extent, okay?
Sure.
So either you're doing it for your business, or perhaps you have an intern, or perhaps you have someone on the team that you've said, hey, you handle all of our Instagram stuff. As Instagram has evolved and we're getting more and more of these tips, I see a lot of people saying stuff like this is how powerful a visual is.
Okay.
they're saying in order to keep people engaged on a reel, that they recommend you talk about something, but you're actually doing something else. So you're not doing the thing you're talking about, right? Because visually it keeps your attention no matter really what you're saying. So what this looks like is when you've seen a lot of these like get ready with me tutorials popping up and stuff, it's because the person is actively working towards a goal, right? Getting their face ready for the day. And you're looking at it and you're watching them, you know there's a process, right? There's some type of satisfaction you get out of watching them complete this process, but perhaps they're not even talking about the makeup they're putting on. They're telling you a story of something that like happened yesterday, right? Like a bird crapping on their car. I mean, it's like, you know.
Okay. I have a Gen Z example that you're going to hate. What's that? I don't know the game. But it's the game where you're collecting the coins and you're moving between buses and stuff.
Okay. I don't know.
Gen Z does this a lot. They upload a video of them talking, but the visual is them playing this game.
Oh, playing a video game?
Yeah. Okay. So it's like gameplay.
Yes.
But they're talking about something important.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, that's... The reason I brought that up is just to play into what Chelsea's statistic was, which was visual content is 40 times more likely to be shared on social media. Yeah. When we talk about the power of seeing something, I just think that speaks volumes, right? And it doesn't matter, like we're saying, it doesn't have to necessarily match the audio all the time, right? Yeah. It's just that our eyes, we're able to, in some weird way, compartmentalize what we're seeing through our eyes and what we're hearing through our ears, but not mesh them. They don't have to be meshed, right?
Yeah.
They don't have to match sometimes, so.
Vivian, I love this next statistic because I think it really shows where we are and where we've progressed in the marketing world. 92% of consumers trust user-generated content more than traditional advertising.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. And so break this down. Remind people the difference between traditional advertising and user-generated content.
Yeah. So traditional advertising is going to be the business telling you, the consumer, about their business and why you want to buy it, right? Buy the product or use the service, whatever it is. User-generated content is exactly what it sounds like. It's the consumer saying, hey, I visited this business, I got this product, and this was my experience. So think your reviews, your testimonials, influencer marketing usually. Those videos that you see of people saying, I bought the viral blah, 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 I don't know, the viral lipstick and look how good it looks. Or I visited this coffee shop for the first time and let me tell you my experience. That is user-generated content. And again, 92% of consumers trust it over traditional marketing. It makes perfect sense because you're seeing actual people like you experiencing the brand, and you get to know what their experience was.
Well, and I love this because there's also this thing where businesses are catching on to this and they understand this statistic in real life where they're starting to put money towards it, right? So instead of doing like a traditional print ad for a restaurant, what I've seen, there's a guy here in 843 area code in Charleston, and he's so funny, all right?
Okay.
He will go out there and he's like, your boy's out here at like, so-and-so restaurant or whatever. But so he's known. He's grown a TikTok audience and an Instagram audience, and people like watching his videos because he literally will say the funniest stuff. He goes to the restaurants, he'll shoot video, show his meal, all that stuff. He'll give you a review while cracking jokes and like all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
All right. So businesses, I noticed, and this was like the best part of this. There was a oh, I forgot the name of it. There's a coffee shop that opened up in Mount Pleasant that I want you and I to go to. It's really cutesy. They give these little ducks in their like matcha tea and stuff. It's very cute. Okay. But
I thought you were going to say the bookstore.
No, I do want to go to the
coffee shop and a wine bar.
Yes,
do you know what I'm talking about?
Too.
Oh my God, I want to go there too.
Okay.
As soon as we go to both of these places, we will on our Instagram and stuff. So go make sure you're following us on Instagram.
But what was interesting is I saw that this coffee shop they had asked people to come out, and I don't know if they're doing it through like compensation monetary wise, or if they're just doing it through like free coffee and pastries or something like that.
Sure.
But they got him out there. He was one of the people that they got out there, and his video just stood out compared to like the rest of them, because the rest of them are like, you know, sweet girls coming up there like, oh, look how cute, aesthetically pleasing this is. And he's just up there like, he's like, I've never had coffee before. How many shots of espresso is that? And he's sitting there trying all these different drinks. It was the best video. Well worth whatever this business promised him, whether it was a little bit of money or if it was, you know, I don't know, he might be charging something. Yeah. It was well worth it, because that video alone probably got a lot of eyeballs on that new business. So I love that people are leveraging this.
Yes, which comes into influencer marketing.
Yes.
As small business owners, y'all, I don't want you to count out influencer marketing, because let's be honest, you're not going to get Kim Kardashian to come out to your coffee shop, probably.
Yeah.
But a micro influencer, someone like Vivian saying, someone who's well known in the Low Country and the Charleston area, that's not out of your reach. That's something that you can do.
And can I throw in there this statistic, which matches what you're saying? So yours was very specific. It said 92% of consumers trust user-generated content over traditional advertising.
Yes.
That was very specific.
Yes.
The one that goes way further into what you just said is, according to Matter findings, 69% of consumers trust influencers, friends, and family over information coming directly from the brand. Okay, so the number changes because it's now broadening it to family and friends and all this.
Yeah.
But to your point, I think what I just want to reiterate, you just said, if you guys have a small budget, if you're a new business and you're like, I just need to get the word out there about my grand opening, I need to let people know, micro influencers are the way to go, because this right here is telling you people already are more prone to saying, let me trust someone that's got a following of 20,000, 10,000. Micro influencers now, you can even do 3,000, 5,000. It leverages their audience. And as long as it's the right audience, the people that you're looking to tap into, I mean, that's what you want. Hyper specific, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so basically, if you have a ribbon cutting here in the Low Country or South Carolina area, you can ask Vivian and I to come.
Yes, we'd be more than happy to.
All I need is like maybe a glass of bubbly, and then I'm good. I will show up.
Which we can travel with bubbly, our own bubbly in our purses.
True. Yes, absolutely. Like, just give me a glass to pour it in.
That's right.
I am not above drinking it out of the bottle either.
The key here is just invite us to your grand openings.
And we'll show up.
Yes. Love it. Before we move past this particular statistic, can we also lean into if you're someone that's like, I'm not going to be doing user-generated content, I'm not going to be doing micro-influencers. Great.
Which is very valid. I mean, if that's what you want to do with your brand.
Yes. This tells you, though, what is going to work really, really well. Testimonials and reviews.
Yes.
Google reviews, whatever reviews you are using to put out there, people are trusting other people's experiences more than they're trusting your paid advertising.
Yeah.
That's the key benefit of this, right? Yeah. That's why we wanted to share that. So.
Which, just letting you know, reviews and testimonials are still user-generated content.
Right?
Just saying. But if you don't want to do the other stuff, we get it. We get it. Yeah. So, Vivian, I now have some random one-offs, statistics and rules that I still wanted us to talk about, but I didn't have a way to, like, organize.
Okay.
The rule of 7.
Okay.
And we've brought this up so many times on this podcast, but consumers need to see or hear your marketing messaging at least 7 times before we take action. Now, usually, Vivian, when we talk about this rule, we say 7 to 8, right? Mm-hmm. We say it takes 7 to 8 touch points before someone's going to be willing to make a purchase from you, before someone's willing to take action. Mm-hmm. I wanted to bring this in here because this is a very important marketing rule, because it helps put things in perspective, right?
It does.
Y'all, marketing is a long game. You are not going to be able to show someone one ad and get them to make a purchase. It doesn't work like that.
Well, and I think at its core, marketing has always been like that. And maybe it's just because our attention span has decreased. It's getting super busy. But okay, so even when I think about old school wise, when I first got in the marketing game, and we were doing anything from like direct mail, aka postcards, or we were doing billboard advertising, or we were doing radio advertising. Funny fact here, you guys, I actually worked for a radio station selling radio advertising. Okay, so talk about knowing the back end of stuff. We were told and we understood that we couldn't tell someone just run one ad, just run an ad for a week. That's too short of a time. Yeah. You need to get some type of like schedule going, because it does require, even back then, it required that people listen to things day in and day out, which is where some of these opportunities came up from. If you remember listening on the radio to like the weather segment, your weather update sponsored by.
Yeah.
I mean, why do you think that came up? It's because they understood, hey, if we get a sponsor for this particular segment, the more hits that we get on that, it's going to stay with people. They're going to get more business out of it. They're going to want to come back and keep advertising with us.
Absolutely.
They're incentivized to set you up for success, because that means money in their pocket too. So marketing, I say all that to say marketing has always been like this, but I think now it's just, it requires more consistency and frequency because of just how much is out there. And
I'm glad you said how much is out there too, because I was going to stand up for us. Okay.
Oh, do it.
Because as a Gen Zer, don't get me wrong.
Okay, stand up for you and your crew. This does not involve me.
No. Just in general. Yes, our attention span has definitely shortened. Vivian, I've had
oh no.
I'm asking
I feel like
my
you're
friends,
about to confess something that's not good.
I've been asking my friends, do you think I could write a book, right? And I had my best friend Maya. She's like, absolutely, you write an amazing book. Tim and my other best friend, Bree, both said, absolutely not. You couldn't do it because you don't have the attention span or the patience to write an entire book. Yes, I'm aware of that. In my defense, there's a lot of stuff out there now. And it's not only just that people's attention spans have shrunk, it's that we are constantly being bombarded with content of businesses that I don't want to say are like you, but like everyone's trying to pitch their business to someone constantly, right? So getting one eyeball one time, one ad is not going to be enough for me to remember you.
Yeah, and if we're going to sound like little conspiracy theorists here, but let me put my little tinfoil hat on and tell you guys something, all right? Chelsea and I, another thing we mentioned in our SOB community yesterday, that was an interesting statistic. When you guys are scrolling through Instagram and let's say, or YouTube, whatever it is, you're using these platforms to try to promote your small business. You're like, great, views are a big thing. All right, even something as small as this, views used to be counted as someone watching your video for 3 seconds. Guess what it's been knocked down to?
1 second.
1 second. Across all these platforms except for YouTube Shorts, and there was one other one that was 3 seconds. I can't remember.
LinkedIn, I think.
LinkedIn, yes, that was it. Okay, so what this means if you guys don't think that these platforms are setting us up for dopamine hit after dopamine hit after dopamine hit, why would you lower the amount of time they're requiring for it to count as a view? Because they want you to feel like your stuff is getting viewed and looked at, because what's that going to do? It's going to force you or make you want to create more content, because you're like, oh, look at how well this reel did. Yeah. Look at how well this video did. All right. We're little dopamine monkeys at this point. Okay. Which is why I make it a point to be depressed for like 10 minutes out of every day. Okay. Because I'm not getting sucked into this. All right. I have my annual, my daily 10-minute depression talk. But
I think Vivian's me today. I think Vivian's me today. I mean, first off, you're in all black. I've got like light blue on.
Oh, I feel like we just did a version of a Freaky Friday. Maybe we changed bodies. Okay,
Who knows?
Cool.
We know each other well enough that we'd be able to pull it off.
Probably. You know what I'm going to do since I'm Chelsea? I'm going to go write that book. I'm going to write it for you. Don't worry. I got you.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
All right. So all of that to just say, like, we don't want you guys getting down in the dumps, even though I do think you should spend 10 minutes being depressed today. We don't want you getting down in the dumps about it taking 7 times for somebody to actually take action on your stuff. Just understand the way of the world now, and you get it because you're living in it.
Yeah.
There's so much, whether it's through Google or it's through the streaming services or it's on podcast or it's we are just getting hit from every direction with stuff.
Yeah.
And so sometimes that Facebook ad isn't going to convert to a sale if someone sees it just one time. Sometimes they need to see it 3 times. Sometimes it needs to be 7. Okay. So, and sometimes I've also heard this too. Great. You see their Facebook ad. Maybe they see you then on Instagram through a reel. Maybe then they see you on a digital ad when they're, looking for something on Google. It's got to be like omni-channel, right? Not just on one platform, but they're seeing you throughout the day in different ways.
Yes. Okay. So this next statistic, we did an entire podcast episode on. But if you're new here, we're going to remind everyone, it costs 5 times more to acquire a new customer than to retain an existing one.
Big stat, because I think once you let this settle in, okay, and you think about it and you accept it with open arms, you come to recognize that, A, you've been making your life a little harder than you had to, because maybe you're just not tapping into people that have already bought from you. Yeah. We get it. There are 2 pipelines going into your small business. One of those pipelines is going to be new customers. You always have to have new customers coming in. But there's also that other pipeline that runs underground. And that one is the one of existing customers, the people that you don't have to convince that you're cool and that, your product or service works, because they've experienced it once before. So the pitch to them is a lot different and can be shorter because they already know, like, and trust you.
Yes. You summed that up perfectly.
Awesome. Yeah. That's what I'm here for.
It's almost like it's
almost like I'm you all of a sudden. Is that what you were about to say?
I was going to say it's almost like marketing, but you know what? Yeah, it's almost like you're me.
Yeah, remember, I'm Chelsea today, so... Yeah.
Okay, last statistic, Vivian, is my favorite just because it gets me in my college feels. Okay. The paradox of choice. Yeah. Do you remember this lesson?
I mean, my memory doesn't go back that far like yours does. Go ahead. If you guys wonder why we're always joking about time, Chelsea's 15 years younger than me, so I feel like she's always razzing me about it.
Well, to make you feel better, the other day I was watching a reel on Instagram, and this girl said, I graduated some time ago. It's been a while. And then she said she graduated in 2021. And I'm like, that is not some time ago. Okay, as someone who graduated in 2019, I feel like I just graduated. What are you talking about?
I graduated in 2005 and I still feel like that.
Okay. The paradox of choice was a marketing 101 lesson.
Okay.
It's the first marketing class I took. I credit it as the reason I decided to make marketing my major.
Really?
Yes, because I was just like,
core memory.
Yeah, it's a core memory. That class I loved so much. I was like, you know what? I want to do international business. So I changed it to marketing. My minor was going to be political science, and I was like, forget that. We're going all in. I did project management, but it was specifically like this lesson. I remember just being so blown by, one, how important psychology is in marketing.
Yes.
And two, just how much goes into you needing to know your consumer. Mm-hmm. Let me actually say what it is. So the paradox of choice is basically the explanation that offering too many options can overwhelm and reduce conversions.
Yeah.
So if you have too many, in my marketing class, we did ice cream.
Okay.
So if you have like 30 different ice cream flavors, at that point, people are just not going to buy any ice cream because they can't make a decision. If you offer 5 or 6, now they feel more comfortable with, okay, I can narrow it down to one thing from 6 different options, and they're more willing to make a choice.
Yeah, I love this. We have talked about this in a previous podcast. I can't remember which one, but y'all just go binge off them. I mean, like, why not? You're here. You've got time. Just go ahead and binge them all.
Yeah.
There was one where we talked about how I feel overwhelmed when I go to, what's that restaurant?
Is it the Cheesecake Factory?
Yes, the Cheesecake Factory. Why is your menu 50 pages long?
But you know what? I feel like the Cheesecake Factory is an outlier because people love the Cheesecake Factory.
They do, but you know what I'd be curious to find out? And maybe I'll research this. I want to see how much money they actually make, like in comparison to other restaurants.
Sure.
I'd be curious to see who's more quote unquote successful with because it doesn't make sense to me. When I go there, I mean, it kind of does in the sense that, let's say we're having like 10 people eat dinner. Each one of those 10 people, one wants Asian, one wants Italian, and okay, great. Cheesecake Factory can suit all those
Accommodate,
needs. Accommodate, yes. But I literally break out in hives when I'm there and I'm like, I don't know what I want. I'm like, it's too much. It's too overwhelming. So I think that's where I love that you brought this up with the paradox of choice, just because sometimes if you're finding in your small business that you're like, I need to have an option for everything. Maybe you don't.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe you pare down your options. And I'll tell you where I have seen this personally and something we've done lately. We have merch. If you guys don't know, we have merch. So you can get a coffee mug. You could get a trucker hat. You could get a hat that says SOB and it says small owned business. Okay. So people don't think you're calling yourself a son of a bitch. But
isn't that so fun when they see SOB first?
There you go.
And then they go buy merch.
Yeah. So we have that. And then we have 2 other designs. Another one, small business baddie. But when I was looking through it, I was like, we have too many options. I just needed to not do some of these like t-shirt styles and just do like offer 1 t-shirt style, men, 1 women. That's it. Yeah. So I've had this discussion with myself as a marketing professional where I was like, you know what, just streamline it and then go from there, because really at the end of the day, and maybe just offer some of the basic colors you want to offer and that's it.
Another example, coffee shops, milk.
Yes. Okay.
Girl, when I go to a coffee shop, first off, I shouldn't be getting coffee. So I'm already feeling kind of like guilty, right? Because I'm like, oh, I'm going to be so messed up for the rest of the day, but let's do this. And then they say, oh, what kind of milk do you want? We have whole milk and 2% and oat milk and coconut milk. And I'm like, please stop.
Just go with whole milk every time. Whole milk.
I'm not going to lie. If they say coconut milk, I get coconut milk.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I love me some whole milk.
I mean, that's fine too. Again, I'm not getting coffee.
Well, lucky for you, since today is our version of Freaky Friday and you're me today, you can have caffeine. So go get you a whole thing of coffee, girl. All right, guys. So we hope that this episode has been super useful. That's all of the marketing statistics we think are super important for you to digest, understand, and know, because it can help change your perspective and the way that you approach your marketing. Other than that, just a friendly reminder, y'all, please, if you like this episode, go listen to a few of our others or share this with your small business bestie. Spread the word. We're out here trying to build a cult. Chelsea says we're very good cult leaders because we give you guys something in return.
Yes.
Hopefully that's support and love and a community.
And not abuse.
We're building a cult for good, you guys.
Yes.
Yeah, marketing good.
Absolutely. So also make sure you leave a review, because that helps, with the algorithm and stuff like that, so that we can get in front of more people, and just go be the best SOB you can be.